All right, well, another force driving solar stocks today. The guy tapped by President Obama as the next Commerce Secretary comes right out of the clean energy business. John Bryson's been named to replace Gary Locke as Obama's Commerce Secretary. Since September, Bryson has been the chairman of Bright Source Energy, a solar-focused company filed to go public just last month and backed by Google. Now, is this a game changer for clean energy? I'm joined more by talk about this is Nat Bullard, Bloomberg's New Energy Finance business. We've been talking about the Bright Source IPO just since it got filed. Shocking that the chairman would be the guy who's nominated to be the Commerce Secretary.
Certainly, it's not going to hurt the prospects of Bright Source Energy to at least have the goodwill of the Commerce Secretary behind it. But as a move for clean energy, this one is actually kind of fascinating. I don't think we've seen a Commerce Secretary who's going to be quite so attuned to the needs of the energy sector and also to clean energy and to regulation.
Well, I mean, it's a complete opposite of the guys you've seen named Commerce Secretary in the past, either, political hacks or veterans, I should say, right, or guys who've run traditional industry, big business, manufacturing. This is not a guy with manufacturing background. It's a guy, chairman of a solar company.
That's right. And if you actually work back from being chairman of the solar company, prior to that, he ran one of the biggest utilities in the country and the largest in California. That's Edison. Before that, he was a regulator. Before that, he actually founded an NGO, the Natural Resources Defense Council.
And the Natural Resources Defense Council, an interesting organization in that it is typically arguing for environmentalists but working with big business.
That's right. It's been an engager and an intervener to essentially make deals happen to the least environmental detriment, let's say.
It's interesting also that this is a guy who has not come up the traditional corporate ranks of junior corporate guy to mid-level corporate guy to big shot corporate guy to running corporations, knowing people, lots of corporations.
If anything, I would say that this trajectory has been almost the opposite of what you would expect for somebody who founds a large NGO. Generally speaking, you would be the chairman of a company, then you would go be a regulator, then from there you might run an NGO. This has been the opposite, but I think it's going to give him a lot of engagement with all the stakeholders in the energy sector all the way through. Also, give him a flavor for dealing with the particular foibles of regulation in the U.S.
Well, and also interesting, when you look at wind, when you look at solar, there's lots of talk about making those the center of our economy going forward, our manufacturing economy. But that hasn't happened. I mean, the biggest manufacturers, you tell me, but I think the biggest manufacturers of solar and wind turbines are all in China.
Well, wind has got a home field advantage with GE, but solar, for the most part, has been a Chinese game, and it's likely to stay that way for a little while.
Also interesting that in terms of employment, the numbers haven't been there yet. Surely for a Commerce Secretary, given what's going on in the horrible state of employment in this country, it's got to be a focus.
Absolutely right. I mean, he's going to have to be looking towards jobs. He's going to be looking towards high-value manufacturing jobs with an export angle. I mean, that's his remit on this, and we'll see how we can put that together.
And those jobs in solar and wind, I'm sure. All right. Nat Bullard, really appreciate your coming on.
Thanks, Cory.
Emily?